Hey everybody! Good evening, Hotfix Nation. Long time no see. Welcome back to Hidden Heroes. This is the Hotfix show where we aim to showcase speedrunners who are part of marginalized communities and the games that they're passionate about and that they want to show off. I am Anarchy, of course, and it's been a while, hasn't it? The hero herself is unhidden. I've been on an adventure since GDQ, but I'm here now, and I am very excited to bring y'all another episode of Hidden Heroes. Personally, I love FPS games. If you know anything about me, I always have. And I decided that it's time that we finally do a shooters episode of Hidden Heroes. So you don't even have to wait till tomorrow for a crosshair to get your fix of games with bullets. For the schedule tonight, up first, we are going to be having ADACA Weaponless Any %, which is a game that has definitely been blowing up in the circles I've been in lately, so very excited to show that off. After that, we're going to throw it back a little bit with Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion Any % Raptor, which is also very fun. We're going to be following that with a max difficulty run of the Lost Levels in the Doom 64 remaster. And then we're going to be capping off the episode with F.E.A.R 3 Pointman Any %, which is a very, very cool run. So we've got some great games and some even greater gamers tonight. So make sure you stick around for the whole show. Tonight's shirt bit, of course, we've got a pretty great FPS, if I say so myself, repping Halo 3 tonight. I love this t-shirt. It's one of my favorite shirts in my rotation. And speaking of shirts, our Hotfix summer merch collection is live. So if you're a Hotfix fan, which if you're watching, I really hope you are, make sure to head over to theyeti.com/GDQ to check out our brand new Hotfix shirt, our keychain, as well as our sticker pack. They're all great. I really love them. They're awesome. But anyway, I think it is time we get on with the episode. I want to welcome Sorbet with ADACA Weaponless Any %. Good luck and have fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much. My name's Sorbet. Today we've got ADACA Any % Weaponless. This game, if you haven't heard of it before, it's a little bit of a blend of Half-Life 2 and Halo 3, a game that I'm sure a lot of you out there love. It borrows a lot from Half-Life 2 in terms of tone and mechanics, the primary of which is going to be the gravity gun. But instead of it being a weapon all to its own, it's essentially a sidearm or an offhand that is available with any gun that you currently have out. And because of that, it means that the entire game is completable without the use of any weapons or any grenades, thus the weaponless category. It is a lot of fun. There are some restrictions that mean that we can't do some things that weapons would allow you to do, but it's a pretty fun route nonetheless. One small note is that this is the restricted version of this category, which bans some things that let you just shoot completely out of bounds and things like that and just skip right to the end of the level. So it'll be pretty grounded, all things considered. Time will go ahead and start as soon as I click into this level. So we'll do that in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. So sort of the general story of this game is that we've been conscripted into a private army for some crimes against the general factions of this game. We've been woken up from cryo sleep by Dr. Chops. He's the one who gave us this cybernetic enhancement in the first place, this thing right here, the gravity arm. And we're basically immediately just going to skip over all of the dialogue and just run straight past him and go straight to the end of the level. There is a lot of very interesting lore in this game. It is very sort of mysterious and things like that. It does a great job in terms of tone. If you do want to play this game after you see this run, first of all, I would highly recommend it. Second of all, you shouldn't see very many story spoilers as we go through the game. I'm going to be skipping through quite a bit of the dialogue. You'll get to pick up on a couple of the major story beats, but all in all, you should be able to still go in the game after this, mostly blind. In addition to that, there is another mode of this game called Zone Patrol, which, as opposed to this part of the game, which is mostly a linear story experience, Zone Patrol is essentially an open world, plays a little bit like Outer Wilds, and has way more interesting lore and stuff to uncover that explains a lot of the things in this world that just the regular campaign doesn't. So highly, highly recommended. In this level, we're meeting up with the main faction that we're going to be joining up with, the Free Scrappers. This is sort of their little commune that they're hanging out in. Normally in this level, we would, say hi to everyone, fight off some waves of enemies. We're just going to skip all of that and jump over this house to get to the end of the level.
That is so awesome.
There's going to be a lot of stuff like that, doing things like explosion boosts to get over little pieces of geometry that are holding us back from the end of the level. There are some other tiny bits of tech, like you'll see right here, where I'm basically just mashing crouch to sort of boost myself up this slope here that avoids going through a sort of maze through that building that was off to our left as I was approaching there. A lot of these levels are really just going to be finding a way to either do the main objective quickly or find a way to get slightly out of bounds to circumnavigate most of the objectives in the level entirely. So this level, Railhead, is going to be done mostly vanilla. We're essentially just going to jump onto this train here, go over to this house, that has a battery compartment that's holding this final force field up, but the collision for the battery, it actually extends just slightly outside of the house, so we can grab that lid of the garbage can and throw it right into that little corner to get it to clip in and hit the battery, and we can just run straight through without having to go in there at all.
This game is so cool.
It's been a lot of fun to run. It's honestly a pretty accessible run if you want to pick it up. There aren't very many pieces that require pinpoint precision in order to actually execute them. A lot of the tech is going to be focused on the macro, things like routing, making sure that you're pointing in the right direction, taking fast lines, things like that. But there are little tiny bits of micro tech, things like the crouch climbing that you saw earlier, and just other small bits of tech. So it's very accessible, but does have a decent enough skill ceiling that it's still pretty satisfying to grind. So like you saw here, just did a little bit of crouch climbing to get up onto that mountain here, which allows me to skip around most of the geometry here, throw a rock into that battery, and just skip on over to the end of the level here, where we get to the first sort of horror-themed level in this run, or in this game rather, Tunnel Vision. I have heard quite a few people scream and yell while playing this level, which has been very fun to hear over Discord calls. But yeah, there's much like Half-Life, sort of sci-fi horror elements in this game. Those first few enemies that you saw are sort of the product of one of the other factions of this game called the Conflux, who were born out of one of the major corporations in this game that eventually sort of turned into its own cult of technology, trying to better humanity, but ultimately making it kind of horrifying in the process. So we'll get to see a lot more of that as some of these levels go on. But for now, we're basically just making our way through these levels, trying not to get shot by these zombie guys. Thankfully, they're being pretty nice. And making our way to this shelter by the Free Scrappers. Here we get a little bit of a respite. We meet back up with some of the Free Scrappers. It's, sun setting. We're getting a little bit tired. They're nice enough to offer a bed to us. So we, rest our head for the night and try and get some sleep. Only to be awoken by a very bright light in the distance. We believe this to be that same Dr. Chops, who has mysteriously disappeared after the events of some of the previous levels. Again, we've mostly skipped over some of that, so we go to chase after it, only to run out of gas halfway through and get stranded in this part of the mission. Now, the main flow of this level is basically run over to a gas station that's off in the distance here, find out that it's being held close by a force field, go to another building, deactivate the force field, come back to the gas station, and then grab a gas canister and bring it all the way back to the beginning of the level and move on. However, there is a way to get the gas can to completely clip through this door. And if we do a precise lineup with some part of the skybox and just throw the gas can right to the beginning of the level, it should, after a couple of seconds, which always feels a little bit scary, it should trigger the end of the level and we can skip straight past it.
That is so cool.
Now, the breach has probably one of my favorite examples of explosion boosts in the run, second only to the level that'll come directly after this, Undermined. Again, a lot of the objectives in this game are just deactivate force fields, and a lot of them can just be circumnavigated by using explosion tech to just jump straight over them. Another thing, we could disable this force field, but the end level trigger is still active when we're in this death animation, so we can just jump straight into the pit and hit it while we're in that sort of death tumble, and it'll still take us right to the next level.
What a game.
What a game. And then over here in Undermined, we'll do a pretty similar thing where we get this battery, hopefully, to clip underneath that door. That skips about a minute's worth of gameplay, sort of going through a maze and deactivating the door that would open in order for us to actually get those batteries out. Navigate through some more of these caves here. You're supposed to sort of like weave through this little maze to avoid these sort of shock death balls, but you can actually just kind of squeeze past them. And then into a very careful sort of Mission Impossible style explosion room that I'm just going to completely breeze past. And then this, if I can pull it off, is the extremely fun 3-barrel method of getting up this tower in 1, 2, grab this health just in case, and then jump on top of this, 3, all the way up to the top of the tower.
I think I will be playing this game after
It's honest. The first time I got that, I popped off. Like, it's so much fun to get that to work. Like, it's just this game is a ton of fun, even without doing some of this, you know, crazy tech. So
for sure, I have literally everyone who has touched this game has been like, you need to play this like stat, like right this instant. It's
so good. It plays a lot like Source games in the sense that like it has the same sort of feel. The fact that you have the gravity arm means that you can just, you know, throw stuff at enemies to kill them, which is a ton of fun. There aren't quite as much of like the same bits of tech, like, like prop flying and stuff like that, but there is some tech that isn't dissimilar either. So it's been a lot of fun being someone who has, you know, grown up with Source games from a very young age. So now this level is going to be another one of those examples where you basically just, you know, try and find a way to get out of bounds as quickly as possible in order to circumnavigate some stuff. This giant gate is something that we would need to clear a few objectives in the level in order to open, but there's a way to climb these mountains in such a way that we can just run straight over them. So sort of the second major horror level in this run, Phantoms. There are going to be some peculiar things happening of the supernatural persuasion here. We're going to kind of mess around with some of these trains here. Get familiar with some of the push and pull physics. There are going to be some enemies at the end of this hallway here that can be pretty nasty. Unfortunately, there wasn't any health in that box that I just opened, so it's possible that I may die here, but hopefully not. We mainly just need to skip around some of the enemies that have shotguns, since those things absolutely melt your health bar if you get caught by them. But looks like we got pretty lucky here, and you can just make it on to the end of the level. There's just some stuff, you know, flying around back there. Don't worry about it. We can just go past there.
Oh, that's chill.
And then this level, the Conflux, is where we would really start to see a lot of the Conflux faction in this game. This is not quite their main base of operations, but definitely one of them. We're supposed to sort of go through this building complex in order to get over to this other side of the broken bridge, but there just so happens to be a little piece of this broken bit of bridge that is just close enough to be able to jump all the way over, skipping all of this building over here. So what was like, you know, a 2 to 3 minute level just basically becomes go from point A to point B, walk to the end of the level. So like I said, like there's so much to this game that this run isn't going to show off, which is a bit of a blessing and a curse. I promise this game is so much fun to play. And you're not going to see very many spoilers here either. So definitely check it out if you are so inclined. This level is also going to be relatively simple. We're basically just going to be running past a lot of these enemies. Going to do a little bit of crouch climbing here just to get up over that slope. You would normally have to do some stuff to get a bridge to lower or otherwise find some way to platform in order to get over here. And as Kelly can attest in this game, there are quite, despite being low poly and sort of like low graphics, sort of like this game genuinely is beautiful at times. Like the skybox work and a lot of the environments genuinely are like pretty breathtaking at times. So
got a really good aesthetic.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. Thankfully, a lot of the enemies in this level don't really get to shoot you much if you just run past them. These guys in particular with RPGs would be scary if they didn't have the worst aim of all time. So just run straight past them, no big deal. Do another little barrel boost and almost messed that up. Get to say hi to a sort of eldritch deity that we're just gonna kind of ignore. I don't want to mess with that. Just the creature. I'm sure there's a lore explanation for that, but, you know, whatever. Now, this level, Powerhouse, used to be one of my least favorites to do in this run, primarily because there is an enemy in here that basically has the target locator from reach, where if you stand in one spot for too long, you just get nuked from on high and die pretty much instantly from any health. Thankfully, I've been able to find a little bit of a faster way to get through here by just sort of crouching underneath those two vents and walking across that seam. That skips a decent amount of a portion of the level that would leave you exposed to that weapon. So thankfully, that's become a lot safer. It was often very frustrating to get killed by that enemy while on good pace and just, you know, have the entire run get kind of ruined. So, which I almost just did by jumping over that railing. That would have been fun. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the prop that I just used down here for safety. There is a way to jump up on top of this building by just using the railing, but it can be pretty particular. It's a lot safer to do if you use this prop in order to do it, which it doesn't seem to want to let me because it doesn't want to stay in the same place. You know, the gravity arm is very useful, but, you know, getting the props to behave in just the right way can be a little tricky. So, you know, sometimes stuff like that will happen. So
they never live. They never try to put on a show.
Exactly. I'll see if I can do just the regular crouches to get up here. I have actually had it happen where the tank, actually just today while I was practicing, the tank shot just underneath me as I was doing a jump, so I was able to use that to get up on the building. I really wish that had happened while we were broadcasting, because that would have been so cool to see, but unfortunately it is stuck in the confines of the practice room. So we'll break through that sort of wood ceiling and get into here. Now, much like Half-Life 2, this game does have falling damage, as I'm sure you've seen, you know, at other points in this run, sort of to, you know, dissuade you from, you know, taking routes that would otherwise, you know, skip a lot of bits of a level, like this, that have a lot of verticality. If you're playing on easy, however, which we are, that falling damage is mostly toothless. It's mostly all bark, no bite, because we can just go straight here from the top of the level, fall for literal seconds all the way to the bottom, and it really doesn't do that much damage. Like, after that, we're still at like 2/3 health. So we can just skip straight over most of that level, and we're pretty much no worse for wear. Now, here is where we get to meet sort of the AI overlord of the Conflux, and we would have a nice conversation with him, but we have better things to do. So
we got a speedrun to do.
Yeah, exactly. We've got places to be, things to do. Now, Theocide is one of the first levels where some of the slightly more difficult tech can start to come into play. There is one of the only instances, I believe, of prop climbing in this run right here, where I do some crouch climbing while holding a prop underneath me to gain some height and fit into that small little crack above that concrete barrier in order to skip a pretty significant portion of this level. There used to be a bit more of that in the weaponless run as I've been doing it, and I believe there is an opportunity to do it later, which may be slightly faster, but a lot of it has sort of been overtaken by, easier bits of tech, thankfully, because it can be a little bit particular. The props can really like to, slide out from underneath you and just generally misbehave. So all we need to do here is clear out this wave of enemies and get in the middle of this airlock in order to go on to the next level. To a bit of a controversial one in that we skip it entirely. That mission, Calico Blue, is essentially a 3-minute auto-scroller. There are some bits that you do have to take manual intervention in to push a button and get the main part of the level started, but after that it is an entire 3-minute battle. You can sit there and do nothing and the game will eventually move on. So for the sake of the health of the speedrun and things like that, the community has just opted to skip that instead of, working through it, which controversial to some, but I do think it's a decent decision in order to make this a little bit more fun to run and not have, 3 minutes of downtime in the middle where you're basically just doing nothing. So and then we essentially, after that, are captured by the police/military of the game and have to break out of prison. Thankfully, we're no strangers to being in prison. We meet back up with AI, who talks at us a little bit, gives us an offer that we can't really refuse in order for us to bargain for our freedom. I don't know, I didn't really read the dialogue. And then we can just move straight on to the next part of the escape sequence and Accord. I said that this game takes quite a few notes from Half-Life 2. It's a game that really sort of wears its inspiration on its sleeve. You can see in a lot of different parts of this game where that influence really shines. Here in particular, we'll get to see a character that is basically this game's version of the G-Man talking to another character that's sort of, the one who actually captured us. So hints at things like, who's really pulling the strings and all of that stuff, which you can say it's a little cliche, a little, done before, but honestly, I love Half-Life 2, so I'll give it to him. It's a lot of fun.
Imagine you're one of those guys who just died to a table.
I mean, it would be... imagine you're one of those guys who gets, stuck by a chair. That would be embarrassing. Here we're just going to do some more pretty basic prop physics puzzle stuff to get up over here. Take the wrong way through the vent, that's fine. And we're essentially just going to power down one last force field that's standing in our way before we can make our escape to the outside world. So hit this lever, jump all the way down again. So apparently our ankles have healed while we've been in prison, which is great. And we can run through these pipes to the outside. And then we're going to have a little bit of a, outside the prison sort of escape sequence where they're really not particularly happy that we've decided to, escape prison. They're going to try and shoot at us a little bit, but they gave the guy in bronze the op, so we can just kind of run past him. It's no big deal. They are going to send an airship after us, so we're going to kind of stick to the trees mostly until we get to the last part of the level where it's mostly exposed. Shouldn't be too bad, though. And we're going to outstrafe the gunship. Perfect. And then we're going to catch a train to get up on out of here. We've caught wind, essentially, that this police/military have found some interesting things going on at a previously unknown island where we suspect that Dr. Chops may be. It seems to be housing all of these sort of mysteries in the rest of the game. So we're going to try and hitch a ride over there and see what's going on. Once we get off the train, I'm going to see if this guy has any health for us. And he does. Perfect. There usually isn't too much risk of dying in this level, but if you, get somewhat bad AI RNG, you can get shot by these guys quite a bit. I apparently didn't need any of it.
You're just
all good. Just, I promise God mode isn't on. I could turn it on if I wanted to. Not legally, of course, but, Normally, I would just, go to this health station and refill after potentially taking some damage there, but thankfully I don't need to. This airship they employed a way better person with aiming here, so I do have to kind of block those shots a little bit, but it's not too terribly bad. And then do a little bit of a barrel boost to cut this corner here. Doesn't save a whole lot of time, but it does feel pretty sweet to do, so why not?
If I'm those guys, I'm mad. I just got swagged on.
I would be infuriated. Then we essentially just hitch a ride on this ship here. Normally in this level, you would have to go sort of below deck and go through, mazes of crew quarters and all of that sort of stuff. But we can just kind of do some crouch climbing, jump over the middle of the ship, and end up right at the very end, where the police force are going to essentially hijack this ship in order to stop us from getting to where we want to go. So we're just gonna clear a couple of waves of enemies by throwing some shipping crates and barrels and all that stuff at them until they finally decide to leave us alone.
Yeah,
there is fun fact, there is actually just a standard end level trigger way off of the front of the ship. It is probably possible to hit that in unrestricted, where you're able to do, these really big, insane tall jumps in order to get arbitrary distance and height. It's almost impossible to do in restricted currently. There's still some labbing to do to see if you can hit that in restricted, but at least for the moment, it's not something that's possible. So after realizing that we're a little bit more powerful than they bargained for, they just decide to scuttle the ship with us on it. But we lived because we're a cockroach and can't die, apparently.
Well, yes.
The world can't stop us. We simply must carry on. This level, it's sort of even in terms of whether or not getting out of bounds over here and walking on the mountains is actually faster than just doing this the intended way. It does, however, skip the potential of getting shot quite a bit by the enemies. So I will take that since I am on a little bit of low health. So I didn't get quite the fast climb that I wanted here, so it's going to end up being slower in the long run. But, oh well. Yeah, there's been a lot of activity in this game in the past couple of months. I personally was introduced to this game by Brian Otto. Shout outs to him, who has been playing this game a ton and just showing it off to people. I think they literally showed a Steam infographic that said after they played it, 10 other people on their friends list started playing it, and it's kind of rejuvenated this sort of dormant scene that's been around this game. There have been runs of this game in the past 3 years or so, because this game came out in 2022. But it's only been recently that the scene has been, revived. We have quite a lot of people running the game and sort of revitalizing the scene. It's been really cool to see. There's been a lot of work done in unrestricted rather, and just absolutely breaking this game to bits. So it's a really good time for this game to see where things are headed. There are even some people who are wanting to route zone patrol, which will be really fun to see. I can get through this door here. So yeah, it's really nice to see a game like this, get so much love even years after its initial release, because it really does deserve it. It's a fantastic game in its own right.
100%. I was gonna say I do want to shout out our friend Brian Otto. I saw the trains and I was like, of course, Brian likes this game.
We love a game where trains are mentioned. Ooh, okay.
Youch.
There are some spiders that really want to, bite our ankles here. A lot of this level is based on wave triggers, where we need to kill a certain number or specific enemies in order to move forward. Those were sort of the last two sort of door breaking open sequences. Here we're really just gated by yet another force field that we need to turn off and get over to this elevator here to end the level. And we actually, in this next one, get to meet up with Lexi, the main character of the Zone Patrol mode. So These two storylines have a little bit of entwinement to them, which is pretty fun. Like most things, though, we're going to skip straight past it, as cool as it is. So like I said, we've got stuff to do. This level is relatively simple. Again, it's pretty much just a mad dash to the end. Going to jump up over here to get enough height to jump over this fence here. And then we're just going to run through this cave. And fun fact, there are cats in this game. They want to kill you, but there are cats. So if you need more reasons to play this game, there you go. I think for safety, I won't do the prop climb strat in this level. I would essentially use like a little ammo canister to climb over this little mountain portion that's to my left here. It can be like ever so slightly faster than just running around, but it is somewhat dangerous in that the ammo can prop loves to slide out from underneath you and just kill all of your height. So in the interest of making things easy for myself, I'm just going to do things the relatively intended way. Would have been a little faster to get that jump there. That way I don't have to do this sort of around path here, but that's all fine. I'm gonna throw that key card I grabbed into that terminal there, and then move on to this tunnel. By the way, if anyone decides to play this game, please find a skip for that. I'm dying to find a way to get into that tunnel without getting the key card. Please, someone lab that. This level is a bit strange. This is crawl space. These enemies don't show up anywhere else in the game. I don't even know if they show up in Zone Patrol. It feels like a really weird out of place level, which paradoxically almost like feels more, you know, of the vibe of this game. Like there's just a lot of weird stuff happening that kind of feels unexplainable, which I personally love. But yeah, there's just weird cube head guys in this cave. We just walk through. The game's like, that was cool, right? Anyways, here's some more, you know, action sequences. There you go.
We just needed to witness the horrors for a moment.
Just needed to peep the horror a little bit. This level is essentially one giant U-turn. I forgot that I was on low health, so that's fine.
Ouch.
Don't worry about it. There's some safety health that I can grab in this little tent over here, so that's fine. We're going to do a little bit of climbing over here. There we go. In order to get up over the median part of that U-turn. This collision wants to be friendly to me. There we go. And we can just hop straight over it. This game is very lenient with its sort of out of bounds stuff. There are some invisible walls that will gate your progress, but a lot of the time, if you can see it, you can get there, which is a lot of fun. So it's a game that's very amenable to being broken. So, which is always fun.
Well, yes.
Well, yes. Just gonna jump down here, and we are approaching the end of the run here. All that's really stopping us is this guy who wants to kill us that we're just going to ignore and move on. Type in a code to get through this door here. And here is the part where you're supposed to choose who you can really trust, who you want to team up with at the end of the day. I don't really want to do all of that, so we're just gonna grab a gun and throw it to the end of the level. It hits someone, and that's all you need to do to complete the run, and that is time. And we roll credits. Thank you. Like I said, ADACA is a fantastic game. Even in this run, it really hasn't even shown like a quarter of the total stuff in this game. It's absolutely fantastic. I personally love the story and the gameplay. I want to say it's like $15 on Steam and will probably go on sale somewhat soon. So keep an eye out for it. And if you're interested, join the speedrun community for this game. And please find a skip for Dig Site. I'm begging you. I really want that level to get broken. But yeah, thank you so much for having me and for watching this lovely game, and have a fantastic rest of the show.
Of course. Thank you so much, Sorbet and GG's once again on that ADACA weaponless any percent run. That was so good. This game is so good. Please play this game. It's so good. I really cannot sing its praises enough. But with that, we are going to take a quick wellness break while we get ready for the next run. While we're doing that, I do want to do a quick shout out to everyone supporting the GDQ Hotfix channel with your subs, your Prime Gaming subs, your gift subs, your bits. Your contributions help keep our shows running. So if you're enjoying the stream, you enjoyed that run, you enjoy all the runs that you watch on the GDQ channel, please consider subscribing for exclusive emotes, ad-free viewing, and access to the chat during replays. You can also always support the stream by sharing the games. Hey y'all, and welcome back to Hidden Heroes. My name is Anarchy, and this is once again the FPS episode of Hidden Heroes. I do want to give it up one more time for Sir Bay for that awesome ADACA run. That was amazing. The commentary as well was really, really great. It's a really good game, and I think you should play it. If you haven't heard it enough times, I think you should play that game. But speaking of things that are also awesome, Games Done Quick will be returning to PAX West from August 29th through September 1st. Visit gdq.gg/PAX West to check out the schedule, and visit west.paxsite.com to learn more about the event. That's also going to be a banger. Very, very excited to watch that. But anyway, I think it is time we get on with the episode. I want to welcome Astrid the Horror Girl with Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion any percent Raptor? Question mark? Let's see what that's all about. Astrid, good luck and have fun.
Hey, thank you very, very much. And that is correct. Yes, question mark, Raptor. That is what we will be playing as. First of all, hello, I'm Astrid the Horror Girl. I do lots of speedruns of mostly horror games, but also sometimes a game like this really catches my eye because it just looks so much fun to run. And it is. It's one of my favorite games to speedrun. Now, if y'all are familiar with Turok, you know that it's Turok Dinosaur Hunter, you know? That's the whole thing. So in Turok 3, something that's pretty cool about it is you can actually play as a dinosaur. And I just want to point out, like with the characters, you can see the descriptions of them, like who they are, where they're from, their age, stuff like that. But you can also play as this raptor, whose description is Dinosaur Go Brr. And I love that so much.
That's awesome.
Like, words cannot begin to describe how much I love they put in the detail of age 75 million. And I want to point out, looks great for being 75 million. Looks much younger than that. And also, the reason that like the Raptor is so fun to play goes into quite a few factors. A big one is that the Raptor is actually the fastest character out of all of these, which makes sense. But also in some details that we'll get into in the game when we start, and the timer will start when I say that I am sure that I want to select this character in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. So what we missed from a cutscene that is about 18 minutes long is Earth is currently being invaded by aliens, and there is no Turok to protect Earth this time. It's a bad situation, but the council has convened and has declared that basically either Joseph or Danielle Fireseed is now actually the Turok, except we're playing as a raptor, which I think technically means that this Velociraptor is the Turok now. So yeah, there's supposed to be a dialogue scene here, but since we're a raptor, he just looks at us and goes, you're cool. I'll just help you out and get you out of here. However, I will remind you that Earth is being invaded by aliens, and it doesn't go too well for him going up there. He's half the man he was. Meanwhile, we are trying to navigate how to stop this invasion from going on. So we're making our way through this city to try to get to, well, the bottom of everything that's going on here. Now, as the Raptor, you have some pretty cool tools that the other characters have, like this grappling hook. That's right, we're playing as a Velociraptor with a grappling hook because this is a very cool game.
This is so awesome.
Right? Typically, only Danielle has the grappling hook, and it is, if you play as Joseph, he is the one that is able to squeeze into tight corners and stuff like that. So while the campaigns are very similar depending on like which character you choose, they are different in the fact that certain routes are locked between different characters. So Danielle's campaign, while largely the same, is slightly different because she can jump over fences to continue the route, but can't climb into like little areas to continue the route. So Joseph can barely jump, so you have to rely on him crawling to places to get to things. But the Velociraptor is simply so fast and has Danielle's like really high jumping ability that it's simply one of those speedrun instances of, oh, you can simply make that jump, you know? Now you can simply do that. Things that were not entirely possible before. Just like this train behind me. With the Raptor, you can simply outrun the train to here. And because you go through 2 different train triggers, there's 2 trains right next to each other that you have to wait for, but it still saves a little bit of time so that we can just hop on the train. That's one of my favorite cutscenes there because it just replaces the character with whoever you're playing as. Not every cutscene does that, but that one does, and it's great.
I love this so much.
Me too. The Velociraptor is kind of amazing. So, the weapon that we currently have, because the Velociraptor can't use every gun, can use some of them, which you'll see later, but can't use all of them. So this glaive / boomerang that we have is the primary weapon for the Raptor when the Raptor's not using the claws. So this thing is basically cheating. Every character can get this glaive, but they have to get it much later in the run, much later in the game. But the Raptor starts with it. And the reason that is incredibly significant is because this game was meant to be on the N64, not on the PC, where we can kill bosses in one hit with the glaive because it's counting at 120 frames per second, and it counts all of those hits from the spinning glaive according to your frame rate. So you just melt bosses. Like that boss that died so fast you might not have noticed that I just had a boss fight earlier. It's just that good. There's only one boss in this whole game that is actually more difficult to fight because you are stuck to using the glaive. The rest of them, you just basically disintegrate with this thing. It's kind of wild. But those are the big advantages of playing with this Raptor. You get to go faster than all the other characters. You get to disintegrate bosses with this glaive. And it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat, all in all. You also get to not only use the grappling hook and jump really high, but you can also climb into the smaller spaces too, and you're not just stuck on the one path. Therefore, you can take the route that is, as far as speed goes, optimal for getting through the game. And as this is a speedrun, we like the optimal route, you know? It's helpful in going fast. Also, I'm not sure what exactly is happening in this base, this military base that we're in. They're doing like a nuclear self-destruction of the base. Don't know why, but we have to stop that from happening. That guy, I like that little scene of this dude just running across the bridge, because I get that it's trying to tell you, yeah, this is where you have to go next, but I don't know. The dude just running across makes it seem like he's really important, and he's not. All right, so there's a cutscene here at the start of this level, so we can just go into the menu and skip that. Just say start from the beginning of the level, which just skips the cutscene. Right here, we got some good luck because there's 2 possible hangar levels that you can get. If you get this one where you need the night vision goggles to see where you're going, this is the faster one because you can simply go down here, grab this key card, jump on this enemy, and then go back up through this wall that just has no collision to take us back to where we are going. And bam, the Dark Hanger level is done. The other ways, you would have to go a little bit further and do a little bit more stuff. So we got the optimal route there. There's also a mod now that I have not installed that just makes it to where that's the one that always appears, and that's acceptable for speedrunners, just so that people aren't constantly resetting their run at getting the wrong hanger and being like, ugh, gotta do this one again, kind of thing. Because you do lose like 20 seconds just for getting the wrong hanger, basically. Now we are on to the only boss that is actually a little bit slower because we have the this glaive here. Now, remember I mentioned the frame rate is a huge advantage for you using this weapon. It's a huge advantage for this boss too, because those little projectiles that get shot at us from the top of those antenna, those things, they do damage basically while you are in them. It calculates as it is going through you. I'd love to show you that Looney Tunes death where you just drop a submarine on that thing's head, but we're going fast. Luckily, there will be other Looney Tunes deaths that you can witness in this game through the speedrun. Oh, also, we're collecting those little tokens. You'll remember if you played the other Turok games, you get 100 of those, and your maximum life total goes up. What is going on here? Okay. Same thing as here, only, and this breaks my heart to tell you, the raptor does not yell, "I am Turok," when you get 100 of them. Like, I'm just saying, missed opportunity. They should have done that. All right. We just got to go through these folks. And those are big mutated dinosaur hybrid things, but they are dead. And you need to kill them so that the gates open so that we can get these crystals to put into this door. This place is a little ridiculous in its security, but, you know, easy to get through. This next part is arguably the most difficult skip in the game, but it also skips the most time out of everything. That guy actually needs to die, and the fact that he's not dying is tragic. He is like doing some really cool moves to avoid my glaive, and it's sad. Oh, this is gonna be a thing too, okay. What on earth is going on? Oh, you guys are blocking my thing. There we go. So we look this way for a little bit because there is a dude that we need to come over here. And if you're looking the direction where he spawns, he just simply won't spawn. So you just give it a few seconds to look off in the direction I'm now facing my back to, and he'll be here. He'll be here in a moment. He's taking his time though. There he is. I was about to go find him. We're just gonna jump on his head, should he give us the opportunity to do so that we can just clip on through that door. And that saves minutes of time. Otherwise, you have to go on this whole scavenger hunt looking for basically pieces of a generator to get it to run so that that door will open. But that saves a lot of time just simply clipping through the door. For a boost of speed, we'll just use our grappling hook to get up here. It doesn't matter if you're up here or not. Down there is just as fast. But the grappling hook is fast, so grappling hook. Grappling hook again to get up here, and then grab the Gatling gun. That is correct. The Velociraptor cannot use every weapon, but can use the Gatling gun, because this game understands that Velociraptors with Gatling guns is the coolest thing anyone's ever put into one of these games. All right. And as you can see, this boss is just kind of melting under the power of the glaive. It's not even really a fight. But we'll get the true boss fight against him in just a second. after we take care of him popping out of those holes 4 times. So 1 more time, and then we can force the boss to appear in his little boss fight arena. Once that closes, then we can boop, just like that. Now we can fight this guy here. Getting a little bit of bad luck. There we go. There we go. All right. Now we can get teleported over into this jungle area, which is actually a recreation of the area from Turok 1. So if this place seems familiar, it's because it's in Turok 1. A lot of folks have played the original Turok and have played Turok 2 and just kind of missed Turok 3. A lot of people went straight to Turok Evolution. That's because this game didn't really have a whole lot of press, and it came out extremely late on the life cycle of the Nintendo 64. Basically, right when Nintendo's next console was already coming out. So a lot of people played 1 and 2, and those are fantastic games, but this one kind of got slept on a little bit, which is a little bit sad because I really do like this game a lot. All right, one of the things that this game does is it loves to put enemies in bushes. You, for the most part, will just go past them, but there's one right here that is kind of annoying, but he's dead. It's fine. Now we have a little bit of a tricky jump coming up here. Got to do some coyote time. All right, perfect. Get that jump. Oh. Get that over there. Pull ourselves on up. And we're going to grab the rocket launcher because that is the next thing that the Velociraptor can fire. If we fire this at the right angle, we can hit this one enemy right through the floor, which triggers this dude to come up here. He's running and he's going to swing on us a little bit because we're not supposed to be up here. We're supposed to be all the way down on the first floor dealing with a different enemy. There we go. And he's taken care of just by dropping him through the trapdoor. Boss fight over. All right. Now we have a little bit of health and we can go on to the next area. By the way, I love that fight. Just simply drop him through the trapdoor. It's one of the great Looney Tunes boss fight strats of all time. Going down this river, we're going to fire a shot there because there's a body up there on the roof that if you knock down lands on this pedestal that kind of takes a while to go down and trigger something else. And you would otherwise have to come in here and wait for that to happen. But if we do it early, we can just take care of it. And then by the time we get into that room, everything's already done. It's dealt with, you know? And that's nice. Now we are going to get on top of this pyramid. Get the gem of ice right there. Gonna trigger all these doors, grab the lava globe. The lava globe opens this up here. We'll just get through that door and we'll come to what is also one of the hardest tricks in the game. And this saves a great deal of time as well. Otherwise, you have to deal with this whole lava boost platforming puzzle. But if you're fast enough, you can simply latch on with the grappling hook there right before you hit the ground and instantly die and swing to safety. This boss, we're going to fire a shot, and the back is the weak point of this boss, so we're just going to throw the glaive, bounce it off the wall, and then instantly kill that boss by having the glaive just boomerang back to us through its back. And onward we go through that area. Now we're going to do a little elevator trick, hopefully. I hope it works. We're just going to let the elevator crush us. Oops, we're just going to shoot right through it and let it take us to the top of the elevator shaft there. Well, shaft, but, you know. Put the gems there and wait for the bridge to drop. So the bridge isn't real until it gets to a certain point. I've tried to jump early, you know, but the bridge isn't actually there until it reaches a certain point. It's just kind of there for show with no collision until a little bit. So that's why we kind of have to wait for it to get down a certain point. And now we are at the evil alien headquarters. We now know their master plan to destroy this universe, to make it more comfy for Oblivion, their god, essentially. They want to destroy everything to make it more comfy for them. Quite fascistic, if you ask me. Let's just turn on this bridge and get ourselves going.
I'm not gonna lie, I think I had a tech oopsie this whole time and have been muted, but hey, this run is going great. I've been talking like this whole time. But this is awesome. Most of it boiled down to I love this game. This is awesome.
Excellent. I'm glad that you love this game and that you think it's awesome. I'm sorry to hear about the tech oopsie, though. I'm glad you're back, though. All right, we're just going to do a little squeeze right there. So like that, for instance, Danielle can't go through there, and the speedrun strat is actually to go out of bounds to get to this part, but it's faster to do it the normal way. Sometimes that dude kind of blocks you in, which is why I try to shoot him, but he just kind of ignored my rocket, and I went, that's scary. I'll just try to scoot past you then. All right, so we're now coming up to the longest point in the game. This is gonna seem like, okay, you just take the elevator all the way across, but, or rather this sort of cargo lift, I should say. And you might think, okay, what's so special about this? But you're actually intended to stop at all these different points that this lift takes you to and destroy some generators and then continue on your way after destroying the generators. But the thing is, we're a velociraptor and we can simply make one of the jumps later, so we don't need to do any of that. We can simply make a jump and then pretend that all these generators aren't here. So we're just gonna be on this little elevator, and I'm moving this way so that I hopefully dodge most of the projectiles that are shot to me, because while I could try shooting all those enemies, they will most definitely shoot me while I'm doing that, and it's also ammunition that gets wasted on the way. So best just to try to dodge as many shots as we can. But yeah, we're just doing this.
While we're doing that, I do want to shout out Frame Fatales, which is GDQ's all-women and femme speedrunning community, which is preparing for its next event, Flame Fatales 2025, which is going to be running from September 7th through the 14th. The schedule is live at gamesdonequick.com/schedule/58, or you can also type !FF in chat for information on how to join the Discord and stay up to date with all things Frame Fatales. Astrid is going to be in that event running, Necrovision Lost Company. That's going to be awesome. That's a really cool run. I'm very, very excited for that. So, make sure you check it out.
I'm excited for that run. Very, very much. All right. Once again, we can just make this jump. It's simple as that. Here comes the huge raptor skip. Only the raptor can do this, because only the raptor actually has the jumping power to do this. So we're gonna do a cool little coyote time jump. Almost. Jumped a little bit early. But yeah, this is the jump. This one saves quite a bit of time. I died. Let's do that one more time. Youch, indeed. All right. Oh no, goodness. This must be one of those, I'm showcasing this in front of people, and so therefore, of course, it can't work now kind of things.
Yep. Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. All right. Oh my gosh.
I believe.
Thank you. I literally was doing this yesterday with no problem, and yet here we are. Excuse me. I don't want you to shoot me. Wow. It's being really mean to me. I'm just not quite getting the momentum that I need. There we go. All right.
Nice.
Now that we have done the thing, we can move on. All right. We are just going to once again use this lift and jump on up. We're getting pretty close to the final boss fight moment here. Well, the first final boss fight. I know. What's the point of calling it the first final boss fight? But it's, you see, you kill the boss and it's the final boss, and then you have to fight that final boss again later, but except it's slightly different but it's still technically, as far as lore, the same boss. I hope that makes sense.
No, I'm following along. I'm listening.
All right, so we're gonna go and fight that first final boss. This is Oblivion. Big, scary entity. He's gonna punch me a few times. It's just the way it is. And we're gonna shoot it. And he's kind of invincible while he does this whole, like, I'm gonna shout and raise my blue and purple fist into the air and get all my health back. So while that's happening, we have to hope for prayer, not claps. See, the claps are bad because he's invincible and he throws these things. We want prayer like that so that we can shoot him. So clap bad, prayer good. That's what the story of this boss is. Yeah. Big RNG heavy boss fight for these reasons. No, clapping bad. Goodness. It's like he didn't listen to anything at all that I just said. There we go. All right. So now we've taken care of him, and I skipped the cutscene, but his, like, soul or whatever turns into a worm and squirms away, and we're chasing that worm right now is what we're doing.
Right.
Yep.
Right up.
That's pretty much what happened. I promise it makes more sense with the context of a whole bunch of Turok games leading up to this moment.
Right. Okay.
All right. So this, by the way, this jump that I'm doing over the ledge, all the speedrun routes with the other characters, they all have to do that jump, but it is so difficult. The Raptor, that jump is free. It's just like the easiest jump. All right, so we're coming up here and time is coming up. The worm is gonna infect our brother Joshua, but I'm gonna shoot him in the head with a rocket launcher and he dies, and that's time.
Jeez.
Thank you. Yep, there's that little worm. So I want to point out, just like, if you think about this little worm and what he looks like and stuff like that, you cannot ever imagine the sound that it makes, like when it like blows up. But you're gonna hear it.
This game is awesome.
Yes, it is wonderful. But yeah, that is Turok 3. Thank you very much for having me, Anarchy. It was very fun to run it here on Hidden Heroes.
Of course. Thank you so much for running this game. This was amazing. This is an awesome game. I think we actually should have named this episode games that Anarchy would like to play, actually. But where can the people find you, Astrid?
You can find me on twitch.tv/AskForTheHorrorGirl. I speedrun horror games. I speedrun shooters as well. I also just casually play through horror games too, because I love horror games, and that's what I do. You can also see me just in doing speedrun events, because I like speedrunning. Thank you.
Well, yes. Well, Astrid is an amazing human being, so thank you so much for being on the show and for showcasing that amazing game. That was awesome. But we are going to go ahead and take a quick wellness break. Everybody, and welcome back to Hidden Heroes. Once again, this is the Hotfix show where we aim to showcase speedrunners who are part of marginalized communities in the games that they're passionate about and that they want to show off. This is, of course, the FPS episode, the shooters episode. That's where I come from, so I'm really glad to have a great episode filled with a lot of really awesome games and great people for this episode. Before we get into the next run, do want to quickly shout out Hotfix. So if you're looking to get more involved with the GDQ community, join the official Games Done Quick Discord and add the Hotfix role to stay in the loop with upcoming events, to chat with staff, and more. So use !Discord in the Twitch chat for an invite and more information. Also, you can catch up on past Hotfix shows, special events, and GDQ marathons over on youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay up to date with GDQ. But without further ado, I think once again it's time to get on with the episode. So I want to welcome a really awesome friend, Zello, with Doom 64, The Lost Levels, Watch Me Die, Max, which is definitely not a mouthful. But anyway, good luck and have fun.
Thank you very much, Anarchy. Hi, everyone. I'm Zello, however you want to say it. Never matters. That mouthful right there is exactly what we're going to do because Anarchy asked me to fill in for some gaps, unfortunately, last minute. So big shout-outs to her for bringing me back. So being Asian American and being on the show, what do Asian Americans like to do? We like to slay demons. Like, obviously, the only thing we would like to do. Anyways, before we get into what this run actually is, I have one very special friend and commentator who's been here before. If you'd like to introduce yourself real quick.
Hello, I am Illy. I did a lot of work on the WD Max routing for the main campaign. A little bit of work for Lost Levels, just some contributions here and there. But yeah, the run has come so far since then, and Zero is going to do great, I have no doubt.
I'm glad you have confidence because I'm sure I used up all my RNG in my practice runs. So we're going to get started here. The Lost Levels is the unlockable side campaign in the 2020 remaster of the game. You can open it up by either beating the game, by completing the super secret level with its special condition, or a couple of other methods fiddling around. So this is a short 6-level mini campaign created by Kaiser, one of the main devs and driving forces for Doom 64 over the years. Did a lot of the porting work, did a lot of the design, and he's just a really awesome dude. So big shout outs to Kaiser, if we didn't have him, we would not have Doom 64 in this nice official capacity, playing it on a modern version. So we're going to get started with that. The difficulty is Watch Me Die. This is the equivalent of Ultraviolence in PC Doom games. And Max, we're going to be getting 100% kills and 100% secrets on every level. So, that being said, the last time I showcased this category on a Hotfix show, we had a little bit of an episode with the first level, and I'm hoping that won't happen again where I'm chasing down a lost enemy for 2 minutes. But we will get started in 3, 2, 1, Doom.
Doom.
Good luck.
Good luck. So this first level is Planned Ops, the one and only tech level. It's how most, I think, Doom campaigns start off. You just have like these tech bases, and then later on you teleport and exit over into like these hell aesthetics. But yeah, this level I would say kind of sets the tone for the entire campaign. While it's very short, it is extremely difficult. The run is like maybe a third as long as like the Watch Me Die Max main campaign, with only like a fifth of the levels or so. These levels are jam-packed. It has like a lot of enemies everywhere, a lot of just very tricky navigation. But yeah, this first level, we actually pick up quite a few weapons. The only ones we don't get, I think, are like the plasma gun, the BFG, and the Unmaker. We'll see those later on. But yeah, we already have the SSG, the Super Shotgun. We always refer to it, at least I do, as the workhorse of the run. Like pretty much any run, whether it be max or speed or what have you. it just does basically rocket damage with just one blast. So yeah, as Zelo alluded to, we have to kill everything, get every secret. So ammo management is very important in these kinds of runs. Specifically, I would say with rockets, as we're seeing now, they're used in very specific circumstances, and then cells, which power mostly the BFG will be seeing. I don't think there's any plasma gun usage in this run.
Yeah, if you ever see me use the plasma gun, that's a mistake, because I rerouted this category ever since Anarchy asked me to do this run, and we basically rerouted it to where we're not going to have any leftover cells at all. Everything's just going to go straight into BFG.
Yeah, and a funny thing about that soul sphere, the supercharge, that blue circle secret back there, I believe that's like 3 secrets just going back and forth to get it. Also, we hug the wall here to kind of skip what's called a line def. Line defs are like these triggers that could do a various amount of things, like spawning monsters, or opening doors, turning lifts on and off and such.
There's a lost behind me. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, the lost souls are so dangerous in this game compared to PC Doom. Like, they have half health, but they are way more aggro in this game. Like I was saying earlier, we hugged the wall in that like yellow key room with like the poison pond just to skip a bunch of spawns. There's some specific movement that's done. It feels strange just like looking at it without any knowledge, but it is very deliberate. Let's see.
Hey, we got our 100.
Okay.
Yay! Hey. I left with 4% health, but we're okay. I didn't have what happened last time. So we're already off to a better start.
We are so back.
This is Evil Sacrifice. Like I said earlier, we're already in the hell levels. We just had the one plant ops tech level, and then we're down into the depths. So we're getting this switch over here, as well as shooting a switch for a secret later on. Kind of have to hug the grating here. And then we're gonna try and do a line def skip. In Plant Ops, we kind of avoided the line def. We don't ever step over it, because that's just how the mapping is in that level. But here, we set up a specific angle. This one's actually pretty tricky compared to the ones in like the main campaign. So let's see if Zila gets it.
That might not be the right angle. Let me set that up again. I also had to activate a secret earlier, and I'm not sure if I got the sound cue for it. Okay, that was first try on the line def skip, so nothing happened, which is exactly what you want to see. So if I had failed that line def skip when I went up those stairs, you would have seen, what is it? I think 2 Hell Knights, 3 Cacodemons, 3 Nightmare Imps, and a Pinky. It's ridiculous amounts of enemies.
Youch.
And the thing about this category is that due to the way that the game tracks its stats, enemies that don't like manage to spawn in are not counted towards that total, because they aren't like counted on the max yet. So you can still get 100% just by making sure they never actually spawn.
Yeah, and that's important for 2 reasons. One, you don't waste time killing stuff that you don't really need to, and 2, you save ammo for other things that you do need to kill. And yeah, this campaign, I think specifically, is very tight on the ammo routing. Like rockets and cells, especially cells, I know. BFG shots are very specific in where they're used. We didn't get some infighting, I don't think, with the Hell Knight, but...
The Baron got pissed off.
Yeah.
He's too close to an Arachnotron to actually get to him, but that means he's just nice and distracted, so that's just fine. Because there's a lot of enemy-based triggers in this game where you have to kill everything in order to proceed, like to make this barrier lower, for instance. So there's a lot of routing around that and just figuring out very efficient ways of killing things, even with it being a 100% run.
Yeah, you never really see that in like PC Doom stuff, where there's monster-specific stuff. There's like Death Simple, and that's pretty much it. That's the only instance of it. And I think you blocked an Arachnotron there, right?
I did. So one Arachnotron managed to block another from spawning. So if an enemy tries to spawn and there's something in its place, either you or another enemy, it can't spawn. So it's very, very handy.
Yeah, so like when you're picking up keys or like crossing line depths that we haven't found out, setups for just yet, monsters will spawn from it if that's what they're meant to do. But they're not always going to spawn if something's in the way, like Zelo said. Then we try and do that as much as possible. Again, for like.
I am getting blocked back bugs so hard. 2 super shotgun shots.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the block map bug is an old bug. It has to do with calculations in the game engine to try and make things run fast. Basically, it makes your shots miss if it happens. Anyways, this is really scary right here, so hopefully I don't die.
Yeah. We got the BFG, and you could see it just plowing through this whole horde of enemies.
That was really good.
Yeah. That was clean.
Yeah, so the pain elementals are extremely dangerous in this game because they spawn additional lost souls 2 at a time in this game compared to PC Doom. And if you try and block the lost souls with your body, the lost souls instantly detonate for explosive damage and usually just kill you instantly.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're used to PC Doom and doing that, you're in for a nasty surprise if you tried it here.
I also remember to actually grab that cell pack because that was a recent reroute.
That's good.
Yeah, so I said with the earlier reroute, that cell pack I used to grab way earlier, and then I realized, hey, grabbing it early just means I get ammo capped because I can only hold 300 cells when I don't have a back bar. So why don't I save that for later? So there's just been a lot of little tweaking in the last 48 hours of re-preparing this run and getting things optimized.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when you get the backpack. Is it just at the final level?
It's in the next level. There's one next to one of the switches in Cold Grounds. But I accidentally just used up one of my BFG shots, so we're actually kind of in a bad spot because I wasn't supposed to do that there. So I'm just going to try and make it work like I always do. Got our 100% right there, so no problem. So this is our nice big castle level. This game loves castle levels.
Yeah, even the main campaign, halfway through, it just starts throwing them at you. So we just picked up, I don't know how much you had before, but picked up green armor. If I can talk about how armor works real quick. Yeah, so that green armor, if you notice the bottom right, topped him off to 100 armor points, and it gave him the green armor class, which means damage is reduced by 1/3. You still take 2/3 damage to your health, but 1/3 from armor. What is really valuable, not that green armor isn't, but is mega armor, which is the blue armor. That gives you 200 armor points, so double the green armor in terms of just raw points, and it splits the damage evenly between health and armor. And especially on Watch Me Die, I would say that you really notice the difference.
Yeah, I think interestingly, I actually had a lot of blue armor left, but I actually want to refresh my green armor instead, even though it gives me lower protection, because there's a lot of health that I can pick up to kind of supplement it, whereas the blue armor would run out faster and then I wouldn't have protection.
Yeah, some circumstances you want to do that, like Zilla said. It really depends on where your point total is with armor, I would say.
Yeah, there's just a lot of decisions to be made in this campaign, and very quickly, you just kind of just work with all. Dang it. Just barely missed that lift.
Yeah.
It's a tight cycle to make. So, as you can see, there's a ton of cacos on this level, and they love to wander everywhere here.
This is a very open level for flying enemies, for sure.
Okay, I don't have my extra shot like I'm supposed to, so we're just gonna, oh, thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, Phantom Elementals can also do that and just kind of smack you in the face. I don't like this at all.
I question sometimes how Pain Elementals spawn their lost souls. It's very... yeah. I think we are coming up on a supercharge right now, I believe.
Yeah, I gotta get past these Hell Knights first, though. This is actually kind of a bad spot to dodge in. All right, we're good.
Oof,
that was
nice.
A little scary there. You don't have a whole lot of room. And
yeah.
there are some very deceptive hitboxes in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
It just feels like the pinkies sometimes, their hitboxes are disjointed to
They are
the
freaking
left or
school
something.
buses. They are school buses.
Yeah.
With the dump truck butt and everything. All right, so there's our backpack. So that doubles our ammo capacity for the rest of the campaign, which is very nice. Now we're going to grab this invulnerability and just run and just clean up whatever we can.
Yeah, this invuln is so nice.
Yeah, especially since there are 2 pain elementals that spawn, so we want to get rid of all this stuff before that wears off, or at least as much as we can. So we're going to do some BFG work real quick. You want to explain the BFG real quick?
Yeah, so the way the BFG works is it shares its cell count with the plasma rifle and the Unmaker. It takes 40 cells to fire a shot, and once you fire a shot, your angle, the angle of the shot rather, is locked in to which way you fired it. And once it hits anything, be it a wall or an enemy, there's like a half-second delay, and then these invisible tracers fire out in a cone in the angle that it was initially fired, and that's where the bulk of the damage comes in. The ball itself can do like 100 to 800, I think, in increments of 100, and then the tracer amounts in total can do like up to 2,500. It's a ridiculous amount. So if you want to like delete huge enemies, just run up point blank and give them a BFG hug, basically.
Yeah, you'll see a bit of that in the when I open the last key door. As we do have a key bump real quick, so if you manage to do stuff at the correct speed and correct angle, you can kind of clip into objects for just a second and grab things before the game is like, well, we didn't get it that time because I was a little bit off on my timing for that, but that's okay. We can just push the switch. So it's really funny when you can manage to do that. It only saves like a couple seconds right there just because it's a little difficult to line that up. Oh, good, I've got some infighting. Yeah, they're trying to give each other the high fives. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, come at me, bro.
Yeah. That key bump, I think, is a little hard to do, because it looks like you have to turn mid-run a little bit.
If you set it up wrong, you can turn mid-run and salvage it, but it's a little tricky. So we're going to do the BFG shot right here. Okay. There's a bunch of enemies right here. Oh, we got all 3 of them in one shot. Nice. Just going to play this a little.
Yeah, that's the power of those tracers.
All right, hopefully that's everything, and hopefully nothing was wandering around, because sometimes that happens. Nope, something's wandering around. All right,
yeah.
This is the part where we have to go hunt and figure out what we missed. It happens with this level. Like I said, this is a very open level, very easy to get lost. Oh, how did this Hell Knight get all the way over here? There's a Kako somewhere too. I heard it. Where is it?
Oh no.
There is a Kako somewhere. They're on vacation. There you are. Hi. Peekaboo. Okay, so that was 98%, and I know just due to how many enemies there are in the level, this should be 100% now with those 2 dead. I'll save again just in case.
They flew over from plant ops.
All right, there we go. We're good there. So at least that wasn't a huge delay, but that can be a run ender, like in a serious attempt, since I'm not saving. If you manage to leave a level without getting your 100% kills, the run's over. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no like HUD display for what is it, the monster kill count and the secrets, so you don't have like a live count that you can reference. You only have the results at the end, and like what happened there. Yeah.
Yep. Happens with this game. At least this campaign's very short compared to the main game, so it's not as big a problem as it can be.
Yeah. Here we get the plasma gun, which basically is just a BFG shot for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, we're not going to be using it, hopefully. So I'm just going to grab that first. Because the moment you pick up the plasma, all these lost souls flood into the room, so I just want to grab the bullets ahead of time. Go ahead and save them.
Right. Yeah, this is still like the first half of the level, but I think we're coming up on the second half pretty soon, which is this like central kind of hub. I don't even know how to explain it, like a cross room.
Yeah, I don't like that
Hell Knight.
Entrances. I don't like that Hell Knight managed to open this room by himself. What are you doing, man?
Yeah, I guess enemies can just do that sometimes.
Yep.
Close enough. Welcome back, Barney.
If only Archfiles were actually in this game. All right, thankfully there's a little bit of armor, a little bit of protection here. So we're going to take a very specific route to make sure enemies do not get lost, because the specters are very difficult to see since they're almost completely transparent. So, but enemies tend to move towards you. So you can use that to your advantage in knowing where enemies will generally go.
Yeah, they tend to take the shortest path. Either that or, like, if you're slightly off angle from which way they're, like, gunning towards you, they do, like, a zigzag kind of thing. There's, oh, man. This is probably maybe a good time to talk about, like, how randomness works if we don't have anything, like, too important coming up.
We do have the trap coming up. I guess we can talk about it real quick, if you can talk about it real quick, and then we have the trap skip.
Yeah, so, like, there's just a lot of stuff that's random in this game. Basically just your damage output, the enemy's damage output, the spread of your super shotgun blast, everything is random. Like, even the enemy movement to a point is random. So, and that kind of, like, does some cool things to just run routing on the fly, just decision making. Makes for some very dynamic decisions. So yeah, this trap coming up, like Zilla was saying. So we're going to get the blue key in this central room. I think it's open now, and we're gonna like run towards it. And what's supposed to happen is the room closes off, like with you in it, and like there's a bunch of dart traps that you have to like go in the corner.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah, if you I guess you would say SR40. There's no SR50 in this game. Just basically like strafe running, doing faster movement than really maybe intended. You kind of bump your head on the door and are able to just skip that trap altogether, which is great.
Yeah, and that's the reason we do that is because we actually want to skip a Baron by blocking it, being in the right spot. So that helps a lot. We can just save on several rockets there.
Yeah, Baron spawn blocking in particular is really nice because they are, I think, like the third most like powerful enemy in the game.
They have
like
1,000 HP. They are very tanky.
Yeah.
Like for reference, my rockets on average will do about 200 damage with a direct hit, so they're pretty tanky.
Mm-hmm. And generally same with the SSG blast point blank, I would say. We usually count like, for example, Hell Knights take 3 rockets or 3 SSG blasts. Barons of Hell take 5. And any ammo we can save is nice.
Yeah, this room's really scary because I've got a whole bunch of stuff that's like on these outer corridors, so we're gonna have to go up there eventually. So, but I'm trying to also pick up a whole bunch of rockets from this room. And we want to be in a very specific position to also block another Arachnotron from spawning. And I was actually just barely off, so now we're actually kind of in trouble. I'm hoping they get out of the way here as I can get up to the elevator. That hurt. We're okay. I've had worse. It's fine. 39 health's okay. Like, this is worth it.
Yeah, and I think there's another supercharge coming up anyway.
Yeah, as long as we just get through the next room, we'll be okay. The hardest part is just making sure I don't blow myself up with my own rockets, because that's always the very real possibility, to dime face rocket yourself. Shoutouts to my good friend Dime.
Yeah, shoutouts to Dime. Yeah, the rocket splash damage is no joke for sure. You could do like up to what, 128 point blank.
Yes.
To yourself.
To yourself, yeah. You have a very sad Doom guy. You won't be able to see his face, but he'll be very sad and very hamburgered.
Yeah.
Burger?
I think like in the original like Doom UI, when you're dead, you're like all bloody red, and you just look like a burger before it's cooked. You're definitely cooked by that point.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of getting cooked, I am at 4% health.
Oh man.
Well, the only HP that matters is the last one, so it's okay. I'm gonna grab just a little bit of health.
It's okay. You got like what, 48 to spare now? Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine. All right, one last BFG shot here. All right,
nice.
Hopefully that's everything. Yeah, like I said, these are long levels. All right, good. All right, so this is the last like major level here.
Yeah, speaking of long levels, penultimate level in this campaign, Thy Glory. It looks small at a glance, but there's a lot of back and forth going on, and I would say, well, I don't think you described it in this run, at least, as the hardest level, because like Cold Grounds can give you some trouble, I think you said before.
Yeah,
but
there's just a couple scary parts, but this one's not too bad.
Yeah, just you have to move quick and out of the way for some fights and some ambushes. Like I think,
good shape right now.
Yeah. So I think there's this section with a key coming up that you have to just like duck out real quick because you're more or less surrounded on all fronts.
Yeah, so we need to get to the door ASAP, and then we need to close it behind us. There, that stops enemies from following me into the room, because you can't have cacodemons follow you into the room, and then it is a giant mess.
Yeah.
Somebody, like one of those cacos was really pissed off at that Hell Knight.
Yeah, I saw that. That Hell Knight was, he was ready. Yeah, I think we're coming up also on Berserk Pack too, which is kind of an interesting secret. You have to go like doing this back and forth, but you could kind of skip like half of it. There's the Berserk Pack there. I don't think we found a way to like item bump it just yet, as far as I know.
I don't think that. I think there's not really a good angle. That imp got torn apart.
That imp is gone. Yeah.
Just deleted. All right, so we're gonna wait a little bit. I want this Mancubi to get in the way, and now we can just kind of clear these out. I don't think he died. Okay, he did die. So this is just a very like chaotic room because I want to get to the Berserker. So we're actually going to skip half of the puzzle by activating this switch from the wrong angle. You're normally supposed to lower a pillar for that, and that skips 2 other switches that we would need to hit. So we can just get the secret Berserk Pack early.
Yeah, that does count as a secret, like the item itself. PC Doom doesn't, I think, allow for items to be tagged, only sectors, so, you know, just step on a certain part of the map and, you know, you found a secret. But
so
no, you have to pick up the item here. Yeah.
Like, you can see the BFG really doing a bunch of work right there.
Yeah. And we're not going to see it too, like, much, but you might have seen, like, these little fireballs jutting out from the walls for like just a split second from those the windows there. Those are what we call turrets, and in this run, I think that's the only instance of them. Well, in this level, rather. I think there's a few other instances where they show up, but they're basically Revenant missiles. If you know Revenants from Doom 2, those like little lanky skeleton boys.
That cackle was right on top of me. I got scared. I was gonna get trapped for a second. Like, It does not matter that I have almost 200 health. If an enemy traps you, you're probably losing health by the mouthful.
No, this is terrifying.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a blue key coming up. We're just hitting a few switches here and there to make kind of a stepping stone bridge, but we're not going to do everything because I think we skipped one of the switches or like a couple, one that leads to the other. And we're going to do a key bump on the last step of it.
Yeah, it's
kind
much
of skip that switch.
Yeah, because it's much better to do the key bump, especially for this one, because if you were to hit the second switch normally, another wave of lost souls and pain elementals would spawn, and you don't want that. So we just want to conserve on our ammo and just make things less of a pain in the butt. So there is a nice setup for this. We're going to get the ammo here, save. So we're going to back up, line up against part of the wall, and then just strafe and get it nice and easy there. And thankfully that Caco also did not try and knock me off course, because that can happen. He is not dead. I'm going to go back and kill him now. I could try and get him later.
I saw a fireball. He tried.
He tried. Yeah, it's just better to just kill that Caco now rather than wait for it at the end of the level.
Yeah.
So we are almost out of it. We still have one more key left to get. I want to get into this corner ASAP. We're going to clear these Hell Knights out with the BFG, give my some space, and then we can just clear everything else out. That one's running all the way over there. I don't know why.
I guess they do that sometimes.
I know. Enemy movement in this game is just a mystery at times. All right, so there's one last secret. This will be the last secret in the campaign. So we're going to get all this. Clear out these last souls.
This point-blank BFG is really doing work.
Yep. So we're going to do one more BFG shot. We need to clear this room out. That was not a good shot at all, but we're just going to have to work with it. Okay, I kind of expected to die after I missed the shot, but that's okay. That's much better.
Yeah, much better. That BFG shot in particular is good for clearing out like the more minor enemies. So you don't have to like deal with like all the mob trash.
Oh, really? Right at the end of that fight, too. Yeah, for whatever reason, my rocket count's really low. Either I skipped some rockets or I was a little more reckless than I needed to be. It happens. Ammo management in this game is just very difficult at times, but we've got some infighting, which is pretty nice.
The infighting as well saves a bunch on ammo. It's nice when it happens.
Yeah, I also realized the implications of trying to fight an enemy that's shooting on the other side, and I probably don't want to have that happen. like you kill an enemy and then the other shots just manage to tag you. I should not have used that. Hey, you got to see the plasma gun when I wasn't supposed to.
Yay!
That's also bad, though, because I have 3 pan elementals to kill here.
No!
Okay, thankfully they all died instantly, so we're lucky there.
That was clean.
Hopefully this is 100 there. I don't know if there was an enemy left behind. Nope, there's somebody behind. There's someone. That's fine. If there was going to be someone...
Can't imagine.
I think probably in the arena by this room. There's sometimes a Kako hanging out on the corner. So, let's see here. Not there. I don't hear anything. Oh, I need to get out of the way before I get shot by a missile.
Oh, yeah. More cameos by those turrets.
Yeah, so unfortunately we get to go track everything down. We're just gonna have ourselves a fun time and see what I missed. What did I miss? I heard it. I heard something. It's probably an imp on the other side. Oh, there were those 5 rockets I missed. Okay, so that there it is.
Yeah, this is what happens sometimes in Max. Can't be helped.
Hey, it wasn't a planned ops situation. I could live with that.
Yeah.
All right, and that brings us to the last map. This is Final Judgment right here. I'm going to let you take the wheels while I focus.
Yep, so we just picked up a new weapon, unique to Doom 64, called the Unmaker. It also uses cell ammo, and we are going to pick up what's called Demon Keys. So these like little pentagrams with the face on them. There are 3 in total, and in this level, each of them, like picking them up or getting to them, spawns a cyber demon, which I don't believe we've seen any of yet as well in this campaign. And each of these also powers up the Unmaker, so maybe you notice it firing faster, firing more shots at once. I think we got 2 so far, pretty sure. So there's 1 more left to get. So I would say, like, even the 2-key Unmaker kind of matches the BFG in terms of just damage output, and the 3-key Unmaker is just kind of overpowered. It just kind of deletes everything in its path. So okay, yeah, there's.
It also deletes my cells like candy, so I have to be very careful of how I'm firing it.
That's for sure.
Yeah, cell management here is actually pretty rough with the route I take because I'm trying to minimize the number of spawns from lost souls or enemies getting lost, but it's still very possible to not finish with 100% kills, and this is the most costly level for that to have happen.
Yeah, because if you have to go back, you have to sit through.
Oh, like, nice boost!
Oh, nice.
What
That
the
works.
word?
That was a great boost. Okay, so we're gonna kill everything else other than the Mother Demon. Killing the Mother Demon ends the map, so we need to kill everything else before we finish up. I want to make sure.
There's those 7 demons we were talking about.
Oh man, I am actually really low.
I can infight, but
okay, we're gonna save now. I need more cells actually. There should be some in the middle. Okay, there's just enough. Okay, it looks like everything else is dead, but we have enough time to sweep the area real quick. It was almost dead anyways. Come on. All right, hopefully this is 100%, and if it is, the run's over. And time.
GG.
GG.
I don't have anything else to say about that. That was the most hilarious Final Judgment I've ever had in a run.
You probably could have, like, pistol
shot it.
Oh, man.
Oh, and with
It was a good run.
Thank you. So with that, this campaign actually ties the original games together with the new Doom, starting with 2016, even though this came out with Eternal, so it's just kind of funny. But that is Lost Levels Watch Me Die Max. I hope y'all enjoyed. I enjoy this campaign a lot. It's a really cool one. It has its challenges and little quirks. And it's just a really fun thing to play. Ellie, you got shout outs, anything you want to say real quick before I sign us out?
Shout outs to you for this run, being a great friend, just being in all the community spaces I'm in as well. And shout outs to Kaiser once again for making this all possible. This remake is incredible. It's one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah, this version of the game is $5 on like modern systems and even goes on sale. It is extremely cheap, and I highly recommend you spend the money to play it. It is such a good game and has just a lot of content. And speaking of content, I will actually be on next week on Parallel Universe with this to show one of the many, many custom WODs for Doom 64. So you should tune in next Friday for that on the 15th, because we will be showing the unmaking. But yeah, thank you for having me. Anarchy, thank you for inviting me. Even though it was a little bit last second, I'm happy to de-rust this and have some fun. We're going to kill the zombie man real quick. And I always enjoy showing off these games, especially Doom 64. It's definitely what I'm most known for at this point. But if you want to see lots of this or music games or other such, you can follow me at twitch.tv/Zelo. That's 3 L's, 3 O's. And I will see y'all later whenever I'm back on. But Anarchy, you can take it away, ma'am.
Of course. Thank you so much for showing that off. That was amazing. Definitely filed under things I don't think I could ever do. But that was awesome. I do want to shout out everyone who's watching. We're not done with the episode yet, but thank you all for supporting. This should actually be titled Games That Anarchy Needs to Play or Speedrun. The upcoming game is one that I have actually played, and it's a series that I really enjoy. But before we get there, Hidden Heroes is all about showcasing marginalized communities, so I do want to shout out my friends at Black in a Flash. Black in a Flash is a community that uplifts and connects Black speedrunners of all levels, hosting special events throughout the year to raise money for charity and to celebrate Black voices in the speedrunning scene. Learn more or apply to get involved at gdq.gg/BAF and follow at Black in a Flash at bsky.social on Blue Sky for our latest updates on what we're doing. I love the people at BAF. They're all amazing, so make sure you support them. But without further ado, I want to welcome on Gulch with F.E.A.R 3 any% Point Man. Good luck and have fun.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Gulch 2. Today I'm going to be speedrunning F.E.A.R 3 Point Man any%. There's two playable characters in the game, Point Man and Fettle. I'm going to be playing as Point Man because they're the fastest. Each of the characters have unique mechanics, which we'll talk about once we get started with the run. But I'm also joined here today by F.E.A.R speedrunner extraordinaire, Draga. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello. Yeah, I am Draga. I've been speedrunning the F.E.A.R games for about 4 years now, give or take. I've run this game. I've seen Gulch run it a bunch. It is a great fun. And yeah, I'm super excited to be here and to watch this great run.
Excellent. Thanks, Draga.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll just go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start a new game, and the timer will start in about 5 seconds after I press enter here. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. So F.E.A.R 3 is a more action-based entry into the series compared to F.E.A.R 1 and 2. We're definitely going to see a lot more running and gunning than you would in any of the other F.E.A.R games. But there's a good mix of optimizing fights, getting through areas quickly, and also we have a way to get out of bounds here, which we'll talk about later. But here's a little introduction section to the level. They're going to introduce us, kind of force us to do some mechanics, like shoot open some locks, mantle over objects, just to get our bearings on all the different things we have to do in the run. So we're making our way through a prison here, shooting some objects and
get introduced to some basic mechanics here. Slide kicking, which is going to be quite important throughout the run. We have a fight here, so Gulch is going to shoot that grenade. He's going to throw another grenade to hopefully hit an enemy that's just running out there. Nice, okay. And then there was some final few enemies that he's going to have to take out before he can progress.
Excellent fight there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you miss that grenade, there's like 2 or 3 enemies that you miss out on killing, and you have to kill them in order to progress through that area. So it's a huge reset point in the run if you miss that grenade there on that enemy.
Yeah. So Gulch just interacted with a psychic link there, which provides us with XP. In this speedrun, we want to be at the maximum level already, because each level gives you various perks, and most notably for the speedrun, it gives us more health, which lets us run past these areas where normally you'll be killed. For the speedrun, it takes quite a long time to actually get to the max level, and so you can actually hex edit the files so that you can get to max level without having to go through that whole process, which Gulch has done.
Yeah, it would take you around 7 to 8 playthroughs of running F.E.A.R 3 in order to get to the max level. And running through this game on a fresh new game file is very difficult because, like Drake has said, you have very little health. There's also we can also utilize the slow-mo mechanic that's in this game in order to reduce the amount of damage that we're taking. So we're going to do that up ahead here. We're going to crouch and just slow-mo here, try to regain some health, and make our way through here. If you try to do that without the slow-mo, you can still make it through, but it's very, very risky. So for safety, we like to use slow-mo there.
Then this upcoming section, you have to kill a few more enemies. I don't know exactly how the section works, and I don't think anybody knows exactly what makes it work, but basically you kill some enemies and you hope that the door unlocks afterwards. Like that,
it just works.
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes there I've gotten through by killing 2 enemies, sometimes I have to kill 5. It's just temperamental on how it wants to work.
Yeah.
Anytime in the game that we're not sprinting, we're going to be spamming jump in order to move a little bit faster. It's not a huge difference, but it definitely helps in some areas to save time.
Yeah. So this is one of those sections where it's, this can be intense even on max level. So, if we were just doing this without those health upgrades, this would be a much, much tougher section. We'd have to spend a lot more time killing enemies.
Yeah, and we have a small skip coming up ahead here. So we're going to kill 1 enemy while we walk by, and then make our way over to this section. And as long as we're standing in this general area while killing the last bit of enemies, we can prevent the spawn of enemies that are supposed to spawn here. So this is supposed to be an additional 3 enemies that we have to kill in order to progress to the next level. But since we're standing in the way where they would be spawning, they don't spawn and we can just move on.
That was a really, really good final fight, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, the barrel just got like all of the enemies instantly.
Here's another section where we can't sprint, so we're going to be utilizing jump in order to move faster throughout this area. Jumping saves us about 7 seconds throughout the course of this area, so not a huge time save, but definitely adds up.
Yeah. Quite a lot of testing went into finding out whether or not jumping was actually faster. And it turns out, it does save time overall.
So the character that we're playing as, Point Man, has a slow-mo mechanic. We utilize that in a few different ways throughout the run. One that you saw earlier, which was to reduce the amount of damage that we were taking. We can also use the slow-mo mechanic while we're jumping. If we hold the slow-mo while we're jumping, we get more jump distance, which we'll use in some areas. And also, if we enter our slow-mo and then jump and exit our slow-mo at the same exact time, we get a little bit of extra height in our jump, and we will abuse that mechanic throughout the run in order to get out of bounds and skip large portions of the run. We did a small skip in prison to avoid having to go in a big circle and jumped over a gap, but that was our first instance of seeing it. It'll get a lot crazier with the out of bounds here in a second.
Yeah, it's like a tiny height boost, but that tiny height boost is just enough to get past a lot of the invisible walls and whatnot in this game.
We'll also do a lot of side hopping over objects in order to avoid mantling. You just saw an example of it right there, but we'll do that constantly throughout the run just to avoid the 1 second time loss it takes to mantle over an object rather than just jumping over it. Have a little bit more jumping here to go until we can start sprinting again.
Then after this, there's going to be another required fight section. So there's going to be, I think, a total of 8 enemies, and Gulch is going to have to take out a total of 6 of them. So he's going to slide kick into those 2 enemies, get that one, and then get these enemies nice and easily. And then pick up the shotgun. The shotgun is going to be useful for another small skip in the section after this. And then we have another required fight section, so take out those 3 front enemies, take out the enemy that spawns at the door, the enemy that jumps over the barrier, and there are 3 enemies that come out of this van here, so take out all 3 of them, and then the final enemy up on the ledge there. Very nice.
Mm-hmm. And now we have a small skip coming up here. We're going to melee this enemy and shoot him at the last possible second so we can shoot this guy as quickly as possible afterwards. And if we get that loading, we know that we were able to get this skip. So what that does is has the shotgun enemy come out of that door and open the door early. We're supposed to have a long sniper section here where we're shooting at a bunch of enemies that are far away and have to clear them all out before that door opens. But for some reason, if you kill those enemies in quick succession, we're able to skip right past.
Yeah. So this is the first big out of bounds skip in the run. Gulch is going to do a slow-mo jump up onto the roof there, do another one up onto the ledge here, and one final one to get up onto this higher ledge up here, and then run and jump onto the roof over here, and that skips another required fight there.
And we can just jump back in to this load zone, load in the next area. Coming up here, we have a mech fight. We'll see a couple of these throughout the run. This one's a little bit inconsistent if it wants to die and the allotted grenade throws that we have, but we're just going to be chucking our grenades at this. We have a couple shock grenades and frag grenades. That one blew up in my face, but oh, we still got it.
We got it, yeah.
And we have another required fight here with where we have to kill a particular set of enemies. So we want to kill this one down below. This guy up top does not like to peek out too much, but I think I got him there. We killed that enemy. And then the last one up top here.
This is the strange fight because it's not the amount of enemies that matters. It's actually those specific enemies that you have to kill before the section will progress.
Mm-hmm. Gonna do another side hop here to avoid mantling. And
there's a small skip here, and I don't know if Gulch is going to go for it, but there's another skip Gulch could go for, let's say, 5 seconds or so?
Yep. It's very risky because all these enemies are shooting at you at the same time while you're trying to do it. And if you mess it up like twice in a row, then there's a good chance that you're gonna die. And the checkpoint before that sets us pretty far back. So
he's not going for it, which is fair enough, to be honest.
We can do a little jump over the barrier here, and it actually ends the level a little bit sooner. I'm not really sure why, but hey, here we go. And the game transitioned us with cutscenes. We kind of skipped them all. I'm just spamming enter in order to skip the cutscene as fast as possible. Unlike the other F.E.A.R. games usually have us start where we ended the last level, but in this game, all the levels are, taking us to different areas, but we skipped that through the cutscene. So it kind of seems like we're just appearing random places. That's just because we're skipping the transition via cutscene.
Yeah, it was time for store skip, which is, I know it's Gulch's favorite skip, and this is one of the longer levels in the game, but we're going to be doing a fairly complex set of platforming here to get out of bounds and skip the entire level. So first of all, we're going to get up onto this shelf, do a slow-mo jump up onto the fallen over shelf there, and do a long jump over this gap here and hopefully land it. Nice, okay. Then jump over these boxes. Get up onto this bit of scrap here.
it's been a bit mean today.
This is all incredibly finicky, by the way. It's very, very easy to fall down at any points. Looking over there, hold forward and get stuck on it. And then the most difficult parts. Very nice. First try, okay.
Nice.
GG's.
Thank you.
So we're now out of bounds. We can jump onto a invisible ledge there, get up onto the roof, and then run all the way over to the end here.
Mm-hmm. I have like a lineup here with the lines that are going across this ceiling. So it's like the 5th line over I want to be around, and then there's a particular dot that I'm going to line up with. So it's this one right here, and I'm going to slow-mo
YOLO into the void.
Yep. And then hopefully hit a load zone where
and
we just...
hit the end of level trigger.
Yep.
That is so cool.
Thank you. Yep. So that was the 3rd level. That level is, like Draga said at the beginning, one of the longer levels. So really glad we get to skip right past that.
Yeah.
This level go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Okay. This level, unfortunately, doesn't have any skips in it, and it's because of that, it's one of the longest and most complex levels in the entire speedrun. We have a loss of required fights here and a loss of opportunities to take damage and die, unfortunately. So we'll see how this goes. We need to take out that enemy. Okay. Yeah, so problem number 1 is we need to get this enemy because we need his weapon, and sometimes he doesn't like to die. So we take out that enemy. He's going to pick up some flash grenades there, pick up the shotgun, and then we're going to be making liberal use of different grenades here. So flash grenades and normal grenades, as well as slow-mo to make sure that we don't die, because we are just going to be running past all of the enemies here. And this is definitely one of the more intense sections. A lot more possibilities to die here.
Yeah, so recently a member of the community named Colin recently developed a mod tool for this that allows you to fly and check out different areas, so we can kind of see where the invisible walls are in this game. And for some reason, this level just has invisible walls that are pretty much as high as the sky. It's impossible to jump over. I was hoping there would be something that we could find to skip some of these areas, but alas, it doesn't look possible today. But we're going to take out these 2 enemies, and we're going to have a fight with another mech here. There's one enemy that spawns down here, and we're going to be doing the same thing we did last time and just chuck some grenades at the mech. We should have to use all of them in order for it to die, and there we go. Perfect.
That mech fight was the bane of my existence. I could never get it.
The grenades are so inconsistent in this game. It's really easy to get hit by something and your guy flinches and you just completely whiff in your name. And that's the worst feeling ever. This is another area here where we're just going to be spamming jump in order to move a little bit faster through these areas. We can't sprint, so anytime we're stuck in these animations, we're just going to be jumping away.
If you're lucky, you can get you can bump your head correctly on the ceiling above you and get a very small boost. Very minor time save.
And coming up here, we're going to use 2 of our shock grenades to take out this whole group of enemies here. They'll just explode, and there's usually a couple stragglers. That's it. Yep. All right. And now at this point, we're on a bit of a timer. There's nothing that we can do to really progress this. There's going to be some zombie enemies spawning, and we're just going to be running around in a circle, just trying not to die. They can't really kill you unless you just stand there. So as long as we're just moving and jumping around, we should be fine.
Yeah, getting in our COD zombies practice now.
So I haven't talked about the second character in this game by the name of F.E.A.R. Actually a very fun character to play casually. His unique weapon set where he shoots like red energy balls at enemies and can pick up enemies and crush them, and also possess other enemies, which means you can play as that character, the enemy that you're trying to fight. It doesn't work for all enemy types, but most of them in the game you can. And F.E.A.R does have a similar mechanic to Point Man, where if you exit the possession, you can get extra height with the jump. But the caveat to that is it's a single-use jump. So if you there's some skips that you can do in this run, similar to what we're doing with Point Man, but if you mess them up, then you kind of have to restart next checkpoint. And there's only about like 2 skips that you can do with F.E.A.R, so it's about 24 minutes slower of a run due to that. So you can kind of get a gauge of how much time these skips actually save.
Yeah, I don't know if you touched on it there, but yeah, this game has co-op where you can play, one person plays as Point Man and the other plays as F.E.A.R. And me and Gulch attempted many times to do co-op runs of this game, and it just did not like us playing together for whatever reason. But
here in this fight, we can do a skip where I threw a grenade to kind of catch most of those enemies over there, so they just stay and die by the grenade. And we want to take out most of these enemies to trigger that load trigger. And if we stare here, we should see 3 enemies just mantle over. After we kill them, the helicopter is going to spawn, and we can transition out of this fight.
And up next is one of the scariest sections in the entire run. We're going to get a checkpoint here, and that is going to be the last checkpoint we get for quite a while now. And this is also one of those sections where we're just going to be running past a huge amount of enemies, and if you die, you have to go all the way back to that checkpoint there. And so we're going to hope that doesn't happen. We usually have to sort of take cover at various points to heal up, and yeah, very scary section.
Yeah, if you noticed in the beginning where we were waiting for that fence to break down, there was a mech there. This whole section, you're intended to be in a mech, and it's pretty safe because you're just in a huge armored vehicle. So it's usually not that scary casually, but here it's a lot faster just to run on foot. So we opt for quickness rather than safety. This game likes to take us into these flashback areas. This is one of the flashbacks that we actually have to move somewhere. So we want to get over to this bed area as quickly as possible. And then we should transition to the next area. We'll do a little bit more fighting and running.
So yeah, so Gulch is taking out the enemies here, and none of these are required to take out, but it's just to ensure that we don't die, because otherwise we would have to go all the way back to the beginning of this section where the mech was.
In this section here, though, I'm going to make sure I kill all of the enemies, because if we do, we get a nice checkpoint. Prevents us from having to risk dying and going back about 3 minutes. So
yeah,
got the checkpoint there, so we're good, even if we end up dying here. This part is very scary as well, because there's a lot of enemies shooting at us. Going to shoot those explosive barrels, take out this group of enemies, and switch to my frag grenade. Hopefully take out some more. And take out the last 2 here.
Make sure not to look at the red light.
Yeah.
Don't know, okay.
It's very temperamental sometimes. I swear it does not like to turn green when you're looking at it. But Jaga, do you want to explain this boss fight here?
Yeah, so those I'm not sure what's called them, cylinders, they're going to be turning electric, and we have to destroy all of them, all 6 of them, to take out the boss. But for the cylinders to actually become electrified, we have to kill some of the regular enemies, and that was a super smooth fight. You had to take out some of the
Yeah, that fight went better than most of my PB attempts, so that's great. This level is tower. This is one level where there's a good mix of fights and a lot of skips. So we're gonna be using the slow mark mechanic like we did in earlier sections of the run to get out of bounds and skip pretty big sections of this level. This is another area of the game where we are forced to walk. We can't sprint, so we're gonna just hop our way through.
Then there's another one of those sections where you have to take out a set amount of enemies. So there's, I think it's 4 enemies here, 3 or 4 enemies. So that's 3, and then the door is going to open. Then it's going to run past all of these enemies and take out exactly one of them to get these 2 enemies to spawn. Take out those 2 enemies, and that'll get this door to open.
And we just go right for the button. The door closes on that poor guy.
Yeah.
Gonna get rid of the shotgun here.
Yeah.
Pick up this SMG. It's my favorite weapon in this game. The AR and SMG also are both really good, but both similar time to kills, both the same exact movement speed in terms of how fast you go running around. The shotgun is the only weapon that we use in the game that is slightly slower movement speed, so we avoid running around with that as much as possible.
Yeah. It's going to do another slow-mo jump up into this camera, do another one to get over an invisible wall, and then we're now out of bounds, which is nice. And then slide under here, do another slow-mo jump up into that, and then run straight into this wall. There's a collision there, so we can't actually fall into the void there. Then run onto the outing here.
And this skips about 2 or 3 pretty long fight sections with the zombie type enemies that we're introduced to in this level. Which unfortunately we won't get to fight a whole bunch because we just skip past all the parts with them.
And be very careful not to fall into the wormholes.
Yeah, the ground is just collapsing under us, and it's pretty easy to fall in there if you don't know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I was playing this game casually, for lack of a better term, this was kind of beating my ass.
Yeah.
When I was playing it, I can't lie.
I can't tell you how many times I fell in there too, so I'm right there with you. Even after I know where they are, so.
He's going to make sure to jump kick directly into the enemy here, because otherwise there's a grab animation that it does, which loses about 7 seconds each time it happens.
There's a couple areas in the game where we'll have to do that, so it can be really annoying because sometimes they just don't spawn where you expect them to. I'm kind of just spinning around in circles when I hear them spawn, panicking and trying to hit them. So, you want to talk about this, Jigga?
Yeah, so there's usually a big fight here where we have to take out one of those annoying blue enemies. We're going to do a slow-mo jump up onto here, and then another slow-mo jump to very nice, very good first try. That slow-mo jump is one of the more annoying ones, but in fact it's probably the most annoying one in the entire game, but it does skip that entire fight sequence. It's very, very precise, that one.
Yeah, shout out to Matt for helping me with that skip, because when I was learning that this game, I was having such a hard time on that skip. Matt is the person who found most of the tech that we're using, and also most of the skips that are, if not all, that are in the game. So huge shout out to Matt. Very cool dude.
Yeah, Matt's a legend. He found I think every skip in this game, and he also found a bunch of these skips that we do in F.E.A.R 2.
So here we're just going to be chucking a grenade at groups of enemies. These are another group of enemies that we're required to kill in order to progress. Here's another scary part here. So I'm going to take out this enemy near the button and interact with it. Instantly go into slow-mo so I don't die. And hopefully, I want to shoot that gas canister in order to stagger those enemies so they don't kill me. And here's another scary part. There's a bunch of turrets and 3 enemies that we have to kill. We only have to kill the 3 human enemies. And once we do that, this door to our left is going to open, but turrets can just mow you down, so you got to be pretty careful here. And coming up here, we're going to have another huge out of bounds skip to get towards the end of the level. There's usually a pretty lengthy mech fight. I think the fight itself is about 4 minutes long if you're doing it even in a speed run. It's very complex. There's a lot of enemies, a few different mech enemy types that you have to fight. But luckily, we can just skip right through that.
Mm-hmm. So it's going to do a jump over another... I'm calling them wormholes. I don't think that's the correct term, but we'll stick with it. It's going to jump over another wormhole in the floor to get to the other side of the map, and then do a slow-mo jump onto a tent, and then run around the edge of the map to the end of the level.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier, if we hold down the slow-mo while jumping, it actually gives us a little bit more distance, and then we'll use the slow-mo jumping mechanic to hit exit slow-mo at the same time that we're jumping to get a little extra height and get out of bounds here. And now we're just running along the edge of the map here on the outside, and we'll hit the end load trigger here in a second. One problem that happens after we hit this is that for some reason the game sound gets a little bit more quiet. It's not super noticeable, but if you've played the game before and you've played it casually, you can definitely notice the sound is a little bit quieter. Nothing we can really do to avoid it, so...
Yeah, it's a glitch in this area. And then because we don't finish the area properly, it then persists throughout the rest of the game, unfortunately. But we're going to do another skip for this level. He's going to turn around instantly and slow-mo jump on top of this broken wreckage here. Jump across here on top of the train. And then jump across onto the beam here. And do one final slow-mo jump to get on top of the roof here. Nice, okay.
Yep. And then now we're out of bounds.
Yeah.
Yay.
Easy peasy. And then follow across on the top of the roof here.
There are some cracks in the ground. There are some cracks in the ground that we can fall through, so we have to be really careful to jump over them. If we do fall in it, we'll have to restart the last checkpoint because there's no way of getting back out of bounds. Coming up here, we're going to have to drop down to this bus, and there's a load trigger up ahead here. So I'm going to do a slow-mo sprint, and right when I hit the load trigger, I'm going to release and jump, and we're going to go back out of bounds while loading in the next area.
Yeah, and thankfully you also get a save there, so that we don't have to redo the beginning now. Because coming up, we're going to have we're going to be running across the roof again, but Sculch has to hit a load trigger, and to do that he's going to have to slip through one of the cracks in the floor and land on a beam, and it's quite precise. You have to hit the load trigger whilst also not getting stuck in the floor. So it's going to move carefully, land on the beam, activate the load trigger, and then slow-mo jump out. Okay, cool. And so that loads in the rest of the level, because otherwise none of the floor here would actually be available. We would just be running straight into the ocean.
Yeah, it's super convenient that there is a little beam that we can stand on there, and two that we can just move to the left and load in the next area.
Yeah. So
there's also a very convenient load trigger right there to load in the next area here. Just so many convenient load triggers all around.
Yeah, this is another section where you're meant to be using the mech. And we are actually going to use the mech for this one, which makes a nice change.
I slided this enemy just to grab his gun. I'm going to use it a little bit later. I'm going to immediately put on you have like an armor ability. It'll just make it so that we're not taking any damage for this section. Just for a brief period of time. And it's not super required because we're going to do a glitch coming up here to make it so that our mech is invincible. If we activate our armor right before a checkpoint and then reload that checkpoint, our armor just persists throughout the rest of the level. So It's usually, it was a lot scarier before that trick was found, this entire route. The helicopters and all the rocket enemies do a lot of damage, and it's really easy for them to blow up your mech, but luckily we have the ability to just become invincible.
Okay, even on the easiest difficulty, this section can be pretty intense.
So
I think
I can confirm that it is.
So there we just activated our armor and just reloaded our checkpoint, and now we are just invincible. Fun fact, Matt actually found that skip live.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually.
The more you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just totally on accident. He reloaded checkpoints because it actually reloads the health of the mech as well. And he happened to press the armor button before that and realized that he was invincible. So that was funny. But yeah, we have a slow walking section here with the mech. Since we don't have to shoot anything, don't have to worry about anything, we can just hold W, go forward. It is theorized that this section would be faster if we can just run through this on foot instead of on the mech, but it is extremely dangerous. 2 hits from a rocket launcher will kill you immediately, even on the easiest difficulty. So
I was going to ask if it was here that you were trying to run through it the other day. I think you were trying to do this without the mech, and it's rough trying to do this without having the invincibility.
Yeah, if we ran the whole distance with just on foot without the mech, it would save about like 30 to 40 seconds, but we are able to do the last section. It's still very dangerous, but that only saves a handful, like about 5 or 4 seconds, so not super worth it. But here we'll get out the mech a little bit early and make our way towards this tower here in order to lower this bridge. And we have a very scary trick coming up ahead. So I'm just gonna ignore these enemies completely. Ignore all of these as well, and just beeline it for this button to lower the bridge. Depending on my health here, if they're still shooting at me, I might reload checkpoint here, but it looks like we're okay. They're being a little nice today.
Yeah, so this is essentially just another slow-mo jump, but you have to do it incredibly fast because you are getting shot at constantly. And if you even hesitate for like a split second, you are dead pretty much. So it's going to do a slow-mo jump up onto here, slow-mo again instantly, jump over there, and hopefully... Nice. Okay. Yeah, you can see how close he is to death there. It's very, very easy to die there.
You want to explain this one as well?
Yeah. So ports, again, very long level, but thankfully we have a skip for the entire level here. He's going to get up onto this, I'm not sure what's called it, box thing, and do a very precise slow-mo jump onto the tip of the plane here, and he's going to hopefully get sort of a course on it, which is going to let him jump up onto the plane. This one is very precise. He's using marks on the ground to line up to line up his crosshair properly to get the correct angle, but it's still not easy even like that.
Yeah, you gotta hit the tip of this airplane quite right in order to jump on there.
Yeah. But this does skip the entire level. There we go.
Mm-hmm. So, we're making our way out of bounds. I'm gonna go towards that little sign there. And once I set up with it, I'm going to use the timer to space out 6 seconds. I'm gonna move to the right, and then we're gonna move forward because we have no visual indicators of where we actually are. So we have to use a little bit of timing to make sure we land in the right area when we load in the final section. So just going to look at the timer here for 6 seconds, and it should be right about here. So if we did it correctly, we'll load right into the end cutscene trigger of this level. There are areas where you can get stuck, so it's pretty precise on where you have to be.
Okay, nice. Yeah, and that's the entire level, just like that.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah, the IL record is like less than a minute, I think.
Yeah, that level is the longest level by far casually in the game. That's another one of the skips that unfortunately is not possible by F.E.A.R, which I really wish it was. There just isn't the correct type of enemy type that we can possess to do the trick. So with F.E.A.R, that level is, I believe, like 14 minutes long. So it really saves a huge chunk of time there doing that skip. It's the longest level casually and the fastest level in the speedrun.
So then there were various, we haven't touched upon the story much here, but there were various, I guess, artifacts of Point Man's life here that we need to interact with. And each one's going to present a memory to us. All the while, we're going to be jump kicking to avoid that sort of monster. Because again, if he grabs us, it loses about 7 seconds every time.
And there are plenty of opportunities in this last level here for them to grab us.
Yeah.
Every single time we're going to a new objective here, we're going to at least run into one of them, if not 4.
Like that.
Oh, that one got scared. Yeah, so we're just jumping around, destroying relics from our past to destroy our memories. We were kind of experimented on, us and our brother, who is F.E.A.R, experimented on, and yeah, we're trying to destroy these memories that are haunting us.
Then we've got, I think this is the final one, and then we're on to the final boss fight. You can see here the spawns of the monster can be unforgiving sometimes.
And the audio glitch that happens at the end of the tower level, where our audio gets muffled a little bit, definitely makes it harder to hear where the enemies spawn and kind of react to it. So that's another added layer that isn't normally in the casual experience. But we're going to have one last opportunity to get grabbed here. So after we jump kick this last enemy, we should be home free in that regard. But we're moving on to the final boss fight.
So for this final boss fight, it has a weak spot in its mouth, and so that's where Gulch is going to be aiming for most of the time. And sometimes he does a sort of fire attack, in which case we just have to wait for that attack to be over before we can attack it again, which loses a few seconds. So let's hope we don't get too many of those. Yeah, that's an example of the fire attack.
And it's also unfortunate because we like to stand on this rock, and there's enemies that spawn behind here that we can't really hit if they do. But here we got pretty lucky, the spawns.
Yeah, so there were 3 phases to the fights, and between each phase we have to take out some regular enemies before the big final enemy reappears.
We're getting a bit unlucky here. Sometimes you don't get any fire attacks, and sometimes you get 3 of them, so...
Yeah.
Ideally, we'd get none. Very quick fight there. They spawned right on top of each other. That was very lucky.
Yeah.
And the last phase here. So time's gonna end on our 4th hit for this enemy. So here's the 3rd, and 4th is coming up here. So time.
GG.
Thank you. Yeah, that was F.E.A.R 3. Thank you so much for having me. This is a lot of fun. Draga, thank you for being here. Again, huge shout out to Matt for working on this game and finding all these different skips. I think the speedrun is super underrated. It's a lot of fun. So if you're interested, feel free to join the F.E.A.R Discord. The community is awesome and very welcoming. And I'd be happy to personally help you learn the game if anyone's interested. Drake, is there anything that you want to shout out?
I mean, I've seen a bunch of the F.E.A.R people in the chat, so hi chat, hi Specs, hi clowns. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's basically all I want to say. Yeah, it's great speedrun. I mean, all of the F.E.A.R games, fantastic speedruns. But yeah, so I've been running them for a few years at this point. I like all of them. A lot of speedruns. F.E.A.R 3 is a wonderful speedrun. I know Gulch is looking to someone to run co-op with. So if you want to run F.E.A.R 3 co-op, be sure to reach out to Gulch.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anna.
Yeah.
Of course, before you go, where can the people find you?
Oh, yeah. You can find me at twitch.tv/Gulch2. I speedrun a bunch of F.E.A.R games. It's going to be my main focus. I recently learned F.E.A.R 2, so I'm going to be running through that. So if you like the F.E.A.R games, I'll be doing a lot of that on my channel in the near future.
Yeah, and
Gulch is awesome. Be sure to check him out. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you both so much for that amazing run and commentary. That was really amazing. I was locked in. I can't lie. Like I said, I really enjoy the F.E.A.R runs. You had a lot of love coming in the chat for you, so great job. But yeah, without further ado, chat, I think that is going to be it for Hidden Heroes tonight. Before we go, I do want to shout out. GDQX. Games Done Quick Express will be returning to TwitchCon San Diego from October 17th through the 19th. Learn more at twitchcon.com and stay tuned for submissions from August 6th through the 13th. There's going to be a lot of awesome submissions for that. I'm really excited to see what we can conjure up for that. But yeah. Make sure you stay tuned for Express Lane coming up after the break, after this episode of Hidden Heroes. But that is going to be all from me. Remember, my friends, that you're all great and you're all heroes. Good night from me, and I'll see you next time for more Hidden Heroes.